Hi guys, in today's video, I just wanted to give you a brief overview of my content bank in Trello. So I think it's super important that anybody who has a content strategy has some kind of content bank. So I personally use blog posts. You might do YouTube or you might do podcasts or something like this. This could be used for any medium. Um, and so I'm going to just give you a short walkthrough of what I have on my content bank. Now, I use this content bank actually quite a lot. And for me, it's really helpful that it's visual. So I really like having the graphics here because it helps me scan faster. But I come here, like there can be questions in Facebook groups, and I'll come here to grab a blog post because I'm like, oh, I know I answered it really fully in this blog post. I use it when I'm writing new blog posts if I want to link back to an old one. I use it for things with clients like, oh, I wrote a blog post about this, like here's some more information on it. Replies to newsletters, all kinds of stuff. I truly use this, if not every day, at least multiple times a week, truly. So I really encourage you to create your own content bank because you're sitting on a gold mine of knowledge and really valuable information that you've already created. So don't just let it like sit there and get lost in the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth page of your blog posts. Just because you produced it a year ago or 2 years ago or however long, most of the time that does not mean that it's outdated or it's not useful anymore. So really it's about making sure you're taking advantage of what you have already created. So I have mine organized in blog categories, and these are actually new blog categories. I haven't even updated my website yet. So when I did the rebrand, I'm kind of going through and just reorganizing my content. So they are organized by category. You could just do one column that was all blog posts if you wanted. The really important thing I think about doing your content bank is number one, make sure you know what your CTAs are in your posts or in your podcast, whatever it is. So I make sure to have all my CTAs labeled. So whatever I've said, whatever I've mentioned in that blog post, whether that's an opt-in or work with me, or schedule an appointment or something else, I make a tag of that. So that way, if I need to update that or I want to change out opt-ins or anything, I know exactly what blog posts those opt-ins live on. And I can filter in Trello using these labels. I also always have what category it is. And again, I just changed my category. So these are like old categories I was using. And you'll see like this one says marketing 2017 and this one just says marketing. So my content bank is populated from my editorial calendar, which I also use Trello for. So I'll just pop over and just show you real quick. So my editorial calendar is over here. And at the end of the year, these published posts gets moved over to my content bank. And then what'll happen this, like for the instance, this one is marketing. I'll change that label and I'll edit this and I'll do marketing 2018. And it'll update anyone that has just that marketing label. It'll update to marketing 2018. And the reason I like to have the year on there is because that way I can also sort and see what are some old blog posts that I have. Maybe can I update those this year? Do they need a refresh and I can republish those? So that's like a nice way to go back to some of my older posts. And having them in the categories really helps me just scan through, particularly when I'm creating new posts, and to ask myself, like, is there relevant information in one of these old posts that I can link to in the new post? And that really helps your SEO, and it helps people find more of your great content and gives them a better experience overall with your content. The other thing that I always keep in my content bank is my opt-ins. So this is just an easy way for me to scan through and see what opt-ins I have available to me. So they also live on my editorial calendar. And what happens though is I have it set up through Butler where it'll actually attach my blog post cards here for anything that has that particular CTA. So then I can open any opt-in and see what blog posts I have it connected to. So that's really nice. And then at the end of the year, I make a copy and move it over to my opt-in, to my content bank board as my opt-in list. So it kind of so it's in two places, and that just but it gives me a record of like what I've done this past year here. I also keep all my newsletters on here, and of course they live in ActiveCampaign is what I use. But what I do is, and this is part of my editorial process, is I actually forward the newsletter to the card. So this way I can easily scan down and kind of see what I've talked about and what I used for this newsletter. And I very well may use one of these newsletters next year or portions of it. And it gives me a good place to not have to start from scratch every single time I want to write about a particular topic. And I also keep a newsletter tracker spreadsheet. So that has like when I sent it, open rates and all of that. And then if I know like, oh, it was September 2018, I can go to that particular card and I can scan down and easily read it without having to search for that particular campaign within ActiveCampaign. I also keep guest posts over here. I have like old retired opt-ins, blog posts that I know need to be updated, blog posts I've redirected. So that's what's really on my personal content bank. If you're somebody who uses, like, for instance, Instagram, and you put a lot of meaty content on there and want to save it, then you may think about having your own Instagram, like, list and having some of those posts there. I personally have my Instagram just in Google Docs, like what I've written for it. But again, this is kind of in limitless in like terms of what you want to capture that you want to reuse in your business in terms of content that you're creating. So I hope that you create your own content bank. I think it's really important because I'm going to be honest, I can't remember what I wrote like in 2017, and it could be a really awesome article that somebody needs like today. So I really hope that you'll make your own content bank and you're making the most of the content that you're creating. I do, within the blog post I wrote for this video, there is an opt-in that will give you a template to get started if you want, and just a short video to show you how to get your own content bank started.